Here we are. We are here. It is time to build a super amazing steampunk iron foundry. Let's talk about it a bit, then let's go through the process together so you guys can see how the heck you plan to build something this big, because honestly, I'm a little scared. So the theme behind this build is an iron foundry. This idea came to me from Master TMO from one of the comments within one of my live streams, where I was talking about ways to kill the iron golems in here as part of the way I wanted this place to look. I wanted some kind of way to kill them that was visually like part of like a theme or a story to tell or something like that. And Master TMO brought up the iron foundry from Terminator 2. Essentially, Schwarzenegger, he kills the bad guy by throwing him into a pit of lava, and then he lowers himself slowly into a pit of lava to destroy himself to keep John Connor safe. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Terminator 2, now you know the ending. And I want to do something like that. So we're going to end up doing a cutout here and having a little lava pit right there. And I have to figure out, you know, what I'm going to do with the drops and all of that. That part, that's the easy part. I'm pretty good with interiors, but I need an exterior to match this. And I wanted to do something I've never done before, which is build in a steampunk style for this build. I thought it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be fitting, it being an iron foundry like building, that we, instead of making it modern, we're going to go the route of steampunk. So where's the best place to go? If you don't know how something is supposed to look, but you want to build it in Minecraft, Google. And in Google, I typed in Minecraft steampunk factory. And I saved a few images here that I found that I want to use as inspiration. Now, none of these we're going to copy at all, because a lot of these are honestly far too small to just copy. But what I wanted to find is, what is the type of build, like what does it look like? What key features does it have? What colors are often used? What kind of detailing is often done? And things are usually, as you can see here, very rigid in terms of how they are built. You have a lot of cool features, like you have pipes coming out. This one right here, you have like little cog wheels or sprockets or whatever that are like spinning around, driving belts and things of that nature. You have big cogs out here, or whatever things. You have things, I guess it could go by all those names. You have smokestacks are pretty common in them. And I even saw Mythical Sausage did a build, although this was 5 years ago, but I did like the front shape of this thing. So basically what I'm gonna do is we're gonna incorporate features of all of these into our build to try to come up with something unique for exactly what it is that we're trying to do. So without further ado, let's hop back in game, because we got some planning to do first. So the whole purpose of today's video is to really kind of help you guys with figuring out exactly how to come up with a build in the first place, and just to give some general building, especially planning tips and tricks along the way. And to start that out, one of the first things I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to trace an outline of like the minimum size that the structure can be, because then I'll know exactly how and where I can add in details and little like differences in the build and start to really frame things out. And I think what I'm going to start out with is actually one block outside of this wall, just so I have the opportunity to build in a little bit of depth if I so choose. And we're going to pillar our way up here. And I think I'm going to go up to the height of like this area right here. And then we're going to bring it in. Okay, we have a lower outline, a mid upline, I can't talk, outline, and then a upper outline to kind of like mark what we need, and a lower outline there, and actually a taller one here because I intended this to be taller than most of the rest of the building. So now that we have an outline of kind of the general shape of this, we need to outline some features of it. I think we'll start with lower lying features like pillars and things of that nature, and then we will move our way up to things like the roof, and then outline some details like some of the cogs and smokestacks maybe and things of that nature. So we'll have like a real skeleton of this thing to really show what it's going to look like, and then we can start figuring how we're going to like fill things in. Now, the one thing I liked a lot about that sausage build, Mythical Sausage build that we saw, was I liked the little pillars that kind of like slowly built themselves out. So I think I want to do that like right here, kind of at where the entrance is going to be, which this is the entrance area. So maybe like the pillars will be 3 wide. Then I can have like maybe a slight variation in detail in the center one, which will be kind of cool. And then like this thing come out this far, maybe. Let's come out one more like this. And then what we do is it comes up one there. It goes up 2 this way like this. Then it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like this maybe. We can fine tune it when we actually go to build it, but this is going to give us like a really good like idea of exactly how this thing is going to end up looking, and just kind of give us what we were looking for is a good idea of the shape. We want to know what the general shape is going to look like, so we can shape things like roof and like just add in details and flat parts of the build is what we're looking to do. We're looking to fill space here. That might look pretty good. We're gonna do that here, and I think I'm gonna do other ones on the outside too. Maybe they'll slightly differ from these ones in some way. Okay, so I needed to figure out one thing, and I did figure it out off camera, and I'm not gonna show you what I did yet because I didn't do a ton, but I needed to figure out what the main block I was gonna use is, and I don't want to spoil where we end up like kind of getting to as I was playing around. But I did play around with some colored blocks, and I kind of went back and took a look at some pictures that I found regarding steampunk builds, both made in Minecraft and just like steampunk artwork that I found and that sort of thing. And I noticed one trend is a lot of these had like very neutral tannish like colors. So I thought to myself, what kind of colors can I use for tan? And I came up with a great solution, and it is right here. Packed mud, or not packed mud specifically, but we're going to add a little bit of texture to this, and we are going to go with mud bricks. First of all, I like it because it's a new enough block to where there are probably not many builds out there for steampunk like builds that have mud bricks. So we can be one of the like first people to really do a lot with this. That'll be kind of fun. And also it just looks good and it fits. And I think once we add in all the details to everything that we're going to do, I think it's going to look absolutely spectacular. So my process for how I like to do things is I'm going to do the whole bottom layer all the way around with mud bricks. That way we have like a structure like in place. Now keep in mind, I know a lot of you guys will be like, oh no, Proud, mix in this, do that, do this thing right here that gives more detail. We'll do that later. I work in ways different than a lot of other creators that I've seen build Dukes. I'm not as talented of a builder up front. I like to do one layer at a time. And layer number one, the base layer, is just whatever the primary block is. So let's put it in. Okay, one thing that's really rough about doing this is packed mud is really expensive. It's expensive because getting wheat is not really easy. We're definitely gonna have to make a wheat farm in the near future. For now, I'm gonna have to incur some hay bale debt here. We'll just mark that there used to be hay bales here. It's fine. Do I have any more anywhere? Hey guys, can I borrow this? Thank you. Enjoy these deep slate blocks. Bruh. I wish I didn't have to tell you guys this took several hours, but it did. I had to get so much like wheat. I had to travel to probably like 5 or 6, maybe more villages just to get enough wheat to do all of this by like finding hay bales at them. I don't know if I quite have enough, but I got some wheat growing over by the main base, so it's fine. But I've started to put together, well, first of all, we do have like a border all the way around. So we kind of have like our base wall height with our base material all the way around. Looks kind of plain right now, but don't worry. It'll come together. I'm not too worried about that. More importantly, I'm taking a look at these things right here, and I like the way it looks, but I'm kind of curious, like what if we try a different one too? So what if we do something that's kind of close in tone and is still like a stony material, but we switch it up a little bit? So I'm going to put granite down on a pillar, maybe 2, and then we'll do the bricks on a couple pillars as well. We'll see how that makes it look. And this being a steampunk build after all, we got to add a little bit of metallic flair. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw in some copper blocks in these areas here, leaving little gaps wherever the stair is, just so it doesn't like match up perfectly. It just gives a little bit of like depth and variance to the area. It's good to add in accent blocks like this because it just adds some extra interest. It adds extra depth. It adds different texture to the area and can make something look a lot better. Like that looks great. Let's see what it looks like with the granite here. As you can see, I just kind of like did both of these, but in like different orders, so I could get a good feel for which one I eventually will like better. All right, got it in, and so far I must say I'm kind of liking it saying mud brick so far, but I'm not going to change it yet because I have something special I want to do with this way. It's like a big entryway. I kind of had a decent idea of what I wanted to do here. It involves a little bit of dark oak, an archway, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So let me pull that together. You can see here I'm using a technique of layering again. So we kind of have like this layer that sticks out. Then we have this layer that sticks out. So that's kind of like, well, if you really go with depth, it comes all the way out from here. But if you're just talking the front face of the building here, you got 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to layer one more in back here by using trapdoors. Trapdoors, again, will offer us the same color as we're already achieving with the dark oak, but give us a different texture. And then we could pop out a couple of actual usable doors here by doing, is it this side? Yep, this and this. And now if we sit back and take a look, I love the way it looks, and it just adds some good color. And I think it further shows me that this is not the way to go. Also, this is just your regular copper right here. We haven't really gone over copper much yet, but copper can oxidize. It has 4 different stages. This is the like completely cleaned stage, and it slowly turns green over time until it's all the way green. Now, I think we're probably going to want this to eventually be all green, but maybe we just like whatever copper we use, maybe it starts in this pristine condition, and most of it, we let it turn green on its own, kind of like the factory here is aging all on its own. Do want to make all of this match, so let's clear this up. And then let's go ahead and swap this out. I'm sold on granite not being the way to go. Now, if you still feel like it looks a little flat, it could use more detail, don't you worry. This is a steampunk build. We're gonna have a lot of things to add in a little bit, but we need to actually go through after I change these over, and we need to add in some more details to the sides, some more pillars to break up the flat area a little bit. All right, that's done. I'm happy with it, especially when we have more going on there. It'll look good. Next, I want to go through and actually just outline some additional places where we'll put pillars. Again, it's not going to be anything that big and grand that slopes out, at least not anywhere near like that, but some places where kind of like we did with the warehouse over there for the storage area, where we will just have some extra detail. Let's come over here. I got to think of where I would want something here. I don't want it in line with this row, so maybe over here like this. And we do want to kind of equally space things out, and I probably want to leave room for things to happen here too. I'm kind of picturing in advance some things I want to do, and one thing with these types of builds is you're going to have like a lot of machinery and pipe work and stuff like that. So I imagine I could have like 2 big pipes coming out of here and maybe going to this like little thing that we put in the ground, and then some more pipes going over this way or something, kind of like something's feeding out and then being refined or something and being fed back in there. I don't know. So maybe we won't quite overdo it, and we'll go with these 2 for now. Okay, so we hit the wall of not having enough stuff anymore, but it's fine. It's okay. We got this side done, the back side done, and I need some more for the right side. We got the second account AFK over at the wheat farm, so that way I can make some more packed mud. But for now, what I wanted to do was actually do like some extra trim work up here. I want to frame things in a little bit, add a little bit of extra color here while we wait to get enough mud for up there. Because the next thing I want to do after this is I want to throw a roof on this thing. And I already have an idea of what we're going to do for the roof. There's going to be some flat sections, some angled sections, some framed in sections. I think it's going to look really good. And so a lot of what we're doing up here, it's going to involve, like we've talked about before, creating depth. I'm going to get rid of these stair blocks here. I'm going to put some flat blocks here instead. It's just some regular blocks. Because we're actually going to kind of frame in this roof area a little bit, because this area up here is going to be flat. So since it's going to be flat, I feel like it needs to be framed in some way just to make it look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more detailed. So what we're going to do is we will take some dark oak blocks here, frame that across, take some here, frame it across. I forgot to do this. There we go. And there we go. And I think we'll do stripped. Now the way this area is going to work is this is going to be a wall right here for like an upper level roof. So all of this right here is going to be like actually exposed, and this is going to be part of the flat roof. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to add in a pop of color by giving ourselves some warped wood. Ow. And we're not going to keep it funky like this. We're going to strip it. And then eventually, when this oxidizes and turns green, it'll kind of blend in and it won't stick out quite as much as it does now. But I think this will give us a nice like color differentiation. Obviously, we're never going to see it from down on the ground, but eventually we'll have Elytra. We'll be flying around. We'll take some cool screenshots of the area, and I think this will really help it pop and make it look interesting and unique. So I'm just going to do this all the way around, and then hopefully by the time we're done with this, we're able to collect some more wheat and make some more mud blocks to start the roof area. All right, so, well, since we're waiting for wheat, let's add a couple features up to the front, because we're going to end up covering this whole building, top to bottom, left to right, in all sorts of different areas, shapes, sizes, and ways, with a couple different features that are going to be prominent in steampunk type builds. One of those features is a gear, and another one of those features is pipes, and another feature would be smokestacks. So let's start with like somewhere over here and relatively low, because I think I want to put something on the lower end and on the upper end. Let's start right here, and then we're going to make our gears with something that looks like it could be metallic in some way, which is this guy right here. Andesite will be a good block for this. Then we'll take some stairs just to make it look like it's got like the teeth of the gear. And it ends up being a little flat here on the end. So what I'm going to do So I wanted to find a trapdoor that was somewhat similar in color. So we'll go ahead and we'll add a steel trapdoor there, here, and here. Now, problem is that, well, this trapdoor is facing the wrong way. So we'll just kind of pop in here. On the back side of the gear right here, I will take a lever, place it right there, and then we can just cover that area back up. There we go. Kind of looks like a gear, right? I think it looks pretty good. And last but not least, we'll put another little bit out here. This is something I saw from a couple screenshots that I saw that I liked a lot. We're going to add another gear up here, and then we're going to create a belt that looks like those gears are actually turning and doing something. And absolutely perfect for this belt system is the acacia trap door, because it has that kind of like look to it with the like stripiness that it has. I think it has a good belt look. And there we go. There's our first feature. I think it looks good. I absolutely love how this looks. Okay, so now let's add in our next feature, which I don't have the block for. And that next feature is going to be some pipes. Pipes are very common in these steampunk builds, moving materials from one area to another. I don't know what those materials would be. Likely some kind of liquid, right? So I feel like we need some kind of a pipe over here. They don't really have to make sense in terms of where they go or what they do. They just need to exist. So what we'll do is maybe we'll pull one out here. We'll have like a little junction, which I like to use this for those bins. I think it looks good. We'll have it come up 1, 2, maybe put another bend right here. Maybe come over a couple like this. And maybe come up a couple, put one more bend in it, and then connect it in, and then we'll strip the wood. Now, eventually we'll actually get wax for these, because I think it'll look best if it stays the same color. Whereas that we're going to let kind of change, like this whole row right here. Why is that row changing and this row? Okay. Anyways, so there we go. That's the type of look that we're going for. And we're going to do this sort of thing everywhere. So there may be some walls that don't have a lot on it. Like maybe this one just has a big gear that's sticking out like this way. Like we can have them stick out like going in like this weird direction too, right? Like this. Maybe like you could have a big gear beside a little gear. We don't need pipes absolutely everywhere. Maybe sometimes we will have pipes and they'll kind of go across and over and connect across different walls. So we're going to have a lot of different things that occur here. We don't need to do it all on camera. I'll show it to you once I have it all in though. When I say I had some fun with this, I had a lot of fun with this. We got some cool gears. We have some like smokestacks coming out in a couple different areas. We got pipes going like all sorts of which ways. And look at these guys back here. I kind of came up with this on my own. I thought it would be a fun idea. Where's my axe at? I'm gonna have to get some beeswax at some point because I don't want these to change. I don't think. Maybe it's okay if these do a little bit, but the pipe elbows and stuff, I don't think I want to change. I want those to stay the same. I wanted it to look like the factory here is like pumping stuff out and then into potentially the water out here. I don't know what that thing is. Maybe some sort of like story will develop around that. But for now, I think it looks really cool. I really like it a lot. We have more gears sticking out in more places. I kept most things out of like this little shorter part of the building, which by the way, I did go through and I added a roof in here. And I forgot that I added these gears in. Those actually look good too. We got some in the side, and I've left a few open areas because there's a few other things that I want to get done with this to really finalize it. Thing number one, I think I want to add something that looks like windows. And if you remember one of those screenshots I posted a little bit earlier, they had some windows using redstone lamps that honestly looked pretty cool. So I think I want to try and do that. And then what I want to do here is I want to add in some stairs just to add some depth. And then I'm going to jump through here because on the back side of here, I want to add in some redstone lamps. We will power those, put one in the corner here, one in the corner here, or maybe just so I get myself a little bit more like depth in whatever I do here. And I don't bump up against these levers. Maybe I'll put it here and here instead. And then we come back out here to the outside. So I want to kind of creep out over here, put some doors there, put some doors here just to add like a little pop of color. And we back up here and take a look, and it looks really good. It's supposed to be kind of obscured, right? Because the whole point of this factory is it's like function, not necessarily its decoration. But that decoration, like peeking through in certain areas, looks really good. So I'm going to take that same like design style of window. I'm going to apply it in a lot of different areas around the factory just to, again, kind of make it look like things are lit up and alive on the inside too. And adding windows is what I did. They turned out to look really good around the building, making it look like the building was actively being used and worked in, which is the exact look and effect that we were going for. Another thing I did to bring that life to the building was add smokestacks to the roof. It gives the iron foundry that sense of workers smelting down iron into usable things, or in our case, us eventually smelting down iron golems into iron ingots. I did them in a variety of sizes just to give a little bit of variety and just to kind of make like the factory look like it's being worked at like from all areas. It adds a certain level of busyness to the structure, which is something you want to have in a steampunk style building. After that, I did a loop around the building as well, adding in a lot of texture variation, meaning I mixed a lot of blocks that were kind of similar to the mud bricks to just break up that repetitiveness that you get from those mud brick blocks. And in this case, the similar block was just a packed mud. So we mixed that in, but also went through and mixed in some stairs and some walls too. It kind of, again, breaks up that pattern from the mud bricks and also gives a little bit of like depth in the building and the structure itself to get rid of that flat wall feeling that you have before doing that. And then finally, to make the building a little bit more visible at nighttime and just to generally add in some more detail, you'll see these hanging lights mostly in the front. So lighting is typically very important to a build. First of all, you spend all this time putting a lot of detail into it, so you want it to be seen, to be visible from close up, from far away, and daytime and nighttime. So it just kind of helps you show the building off, and it just gives you like a good amount of detail in the structure itself to do that. It helps break up some of the flat areas where you don't have anything going on. Also, it's going to help make the building spawn proof as well, which is good because we don't want to have to put torches everywhere to spawn proof or buttons or carpet or whatever it may be. So having lighting spawn proof thing is always going to be the best way to do it. And if you could do that in a decorative way, that's the way that you probably want to go. And it's just, again, like I said, helping you fill in some additional space, give you something else to look at when you're walking up to the building or looking around it. Just that one extra detail to grab your eye. And with all of that awesome work on the outside, like the cog wheel we have up there, it looks really good too. When you walk into the inside, it's the same. We haven't done anything to the inside yet because, well, it's a really big task and it's not something we're going to fit into this episode, but I'm kind of curious, what kind of things do you guys want to see on the inside? Does anybody have any tips, any tricks, maybe any example art you would like to drop me on Discord? Because I'm kind of willing to take a look at those things, and it's something we'll be working on in the near future, although not the next episode. We're going to switch back to getting some more quick things done instead of something that took literally like 7 days for me to complete. I'm not that fast of a builder. I like doing it. I think we got a good result, but am I quick at it? No, I'm not. If you like our steampunk iron foundry here, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Also, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. We got some places to go and some things to do. See you later.